Hi there. In this video, we're going to take a quick introduction about what this first little unit is about. It's essentially a review of a lot of the concepts that you learned about algebra in grade 10. So we're going to be dealing with a lot of algebraic expressions this year in grade 11. So first thing we need to know how to do, or remember how to do, is how to clean it up and write it in an organized way. So here I've got a messy expression, and one thing that we can do to clean this up is there's a multiplication there. So I'm going to multiply so that the 5 is being distributed into the brackets. So it's also, that whole expression, 5 times 2x minus 3, it's also being subtracted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat that like a negative 5 to distribute the effect of subtracting as well. So when I do that, I get 9x squared plus 35x minus 10x plus 15, because negative 5 times negative 3 is positive 15, minus 19x squared. So what I've done there is I've expanded. Okay, expanding means just do all the little multiplications that are embedded within the expression. Next thing I want to do is I want to simplify. That is, I want to gather all my like terms and put them together. And I also want them in a certain order. I want them in descending order by their powers. In other words, we want to have our, in this case, the highest power is x squared, so we want that first. So positive 9x squared, negative 19x squared combined to negative 10x squared. And then we have positive 35x, negative 10x. That combines to positive 25x. And then the constant at the end is positive 15. So we've cleaned up the expression so it looks nice and neat. So that's what we call, I guess, really just expand and simplify. All right, next thing we're going to do is, or the other way that we often leave expressions is not just in this way, but in simplified form. So if I go down here, here's sort of just kind of a quick review of stuff that you guys had learned about, factoring last year. So let's just do a quick example of this, and this whole chapter is going to be about reviewing it all. So if you don't fully remember how to do this, you will by the end of it. Okay, so negative 10x squared plus 25x plus 15 is a trinomial. But before we get too hung up about factoring it, let's see if we can take out any common factors. All right, 5 goes into each of those 3 coefficients. But something we want to make sure we do this year is that if we ever have a negative on the leading coefficient, that is the x squared coefficient in this case, we want to make sure we factor that negative out as well. So I'm not going to just take out a 5, I'm going to take out a negative 5. All right, so when we factor out a common factor, what we're really doing is we're taking that common factor out front and we're dividing each term by that value. So negative 10 divided by negative 5 is going to give us 2x squared. Positive 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5x. And a positive 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. So I've undistributed the negative 5 from the trinomial. Okay? So you'll maybe recognize that now I'm just going to continue on writing the negative 5 out front. That this is one of those factorable trinomials with a coefficient in front. So this was kind of sometimes a trickier one to do. I'm going to do it by just kind of guessing and checking. We're going to review this later. So I know that the first 2 terms in the bracket have to multiply out to 2x squared. So I know it's just got to be 2x and x. I know that the last 2 terms have to multiply out to 3. So it's 3 times 1. And I'm just going to guess that it goes that way. And let's see here. So I've got 6x and 1x. So that is got to be negative 6x and positive 1. So that's how that would factor. Okay, so we're going to review a bunch of different methods how to factor those trinomials as well. And this gives us the second way that we like to leave expressions, that is, factored form. Let me just fix that up. That is factored form. Okay. All right, in the next video, we're going to start looking at just the simplifying part of this process.